In Foxhole, 5 types of raw resources are used to produce all materials and intermediate materials that in turn are used to produce all the weapons, vehicles and buildings found in the game. Those raw resources are salvage, sulfur, components, coal and oil. These raw resources can be found on resource fields that are indicated on the map by their respective symbols: a screw icon for salvage, a rock icon for sulfur, a knot icon for components, a small rocks icon for coal, and a barrel icon for oil. And some of them can be collected from resource mines: salvage, sulfur, and components, each of which has their own map symbol. The different raw resources can be gathered through different methods. Salvage and coal can both be gathered with a starting kit hammer, a sledgehammer, and a harvester at their respective resource fields. It can also be collected from stationary harvesters on those fields. Salvage, additionally, can be collected from salvage mines. Sulfur and components can only be gathered with a sledgehammer or harvester on their respective resource field, and both can also be collected from stationary harvesters on those fields. Sulfur and components can both additionally be collected from sulfur and component mines. Oil can only be collected through oil wells that are placed on oil fields. The raw resources can all be transported in vehicles with normal inventory slots. With the exception of oil, they can all also be transported inside a specialized resource truck, a resource trailer, and inside resource containers and a resource ship. Oil, on the other hand, can be transported inside specialized fuel truck and fuel trailer and inside fuel containers. To quickly locate resource fields or resource mines on the map, press M to open the map and, while holding Shift, left-click twice on the icon of the field or mine you want to isolate. This way you will turn off all other icons except for the one you clicked on. The amount of resources that is available in the resource field and in the surrounding stationary harvesters can be seen from the map. Simply press M to open the map and hover over the icon of the resource field. Doing this will show a drop-down that will tell you how many more nodes of this resource can still spawn in the cycle and how much of this resource is available for pickup inside the stationary harvesters located on the field. To farm the resource fields, make sure you bring the correct gathering tool. Remember, sulfur and components can only be gathered by sledgehammer or harvester, not with the starting kit hammer. Drive your truck to the field and park it in a way that it is not blocking the road or obscuring resource nodes. If you are bringing a flatbed with resource container, make sure the resource field has a crane. Press Q to hop out of the flatbed, run to the crane and press Q to hop into the operator side. Hold down the right mouse button to aim the hook at the container, and when it is over the container, the icon will change to a connection icon. Simply left-click to hoist up the container. Then aim at a spot near the field and press left mouse button to drop the container down. Walk to the field and press 1 to equip your hammer or sledgehammer, and simply walk up to the resource nodes on the field and hold down the left mouse button to start collecting them. In the bottom left, you will see the amount of resources each hit is putting into your inventory. When your inventory is full, walk back to your truck or container and press E to open its menu. To transfer the resources, simply shift-click the stacks to transfer them from your inventory into the truck's inventory. To transfer raw resources into your resource trailer, walk to the back of the trailer and press E to open its menu. Here too, simply shift-click the stacks to transfer the resources into the trailer. If you are putting the resources into a resource stockpile like a resource container, right-click one of the stacks and select Submit All to Stockpile in the drop-down. To farm resources with a harvester, simply walk to its driver's side and press Q to hop in, and hold down the left mouse button to harvest. Use the WASD keys to drive the harvester around the field. When the inventory of the harvester is full, drive it into the container to remove its packaging, and press E to open its menu. Right-click the stacks of resources in the harvester's inventory and select Submit All to Stockpile in the drop-down. To put the resources into the inventory of your truck, simply hop out of the harvester by pressing Q and press E to open its menu. Shift-click the stacks of resources to transfer them into your inventory. Escape out of the menu and walk towards your truck. Press E to open its menu and shift-click the stacks again to transfer them into your truck. Repeat this until your truck or container stockpile is full. If you walk to the middle of the field and interact with the large pile of resources there by pressing E, you can see how many more nodes will spawn in this field's cycle. Once this number reaches 0, the field will not spawn resource nodes for a while. The amount of time a field takes to restore is different for the different resource types. Salvage and coal fields start respawning nodes after 25 to 140 minutes. Sulfur and component fields start respawning after 2.5 to 8 hours. Oil fields cannot be depleted and always have oil in them. If the stationary harvesters on a resource field have resources in their public stockpile, simply drive to the field and drive your truck close to the stationary harvesters and press Shift E. In the drop-down menu, select our stationary harvester. This will open the menu. To transfer the resources from the stockpile to your truck, you can left-click to transfer 100 resources at a time or shift left-click to transfer 300 at a time. The resources available in and fuel status of resource mines can also be seen from the map. Simply press M to open a map and hover over the icon of a resource mine that is within friendly territory. This will show a drop-down menu with the amount of resources currently available inside the mine's stockpile and the amount of diesel and/or petrol it has in its fuel tanks. To collect the resources from the mine, you can simply drive your truck close to the mine and press E to open its menu. Left-click the resources on the right inside the stockpile to transfer them 100 at a time into your inventory, or shift-click to transfer 300 at a time. When bringing a trailer along with your heavy truck, you can select the trailer's inventory in the bottom left. Fill the trailer by shift-clicking the resources in the stockpile of the mine, and then select the inventory of the heavy truck in the bottom left and fill that as well. When using a resource container, you first need to be sure a crane is stationed at the resource mines. Press Q to hop out of the flatbed and come to the driver's side of the crane. Press Q to hop in. Then hold down the right mouse button to aim the hook of the crane. The arm of the crane can only be moved when the crane is in its deployed state. If it is not deployed yet, the game will give an error message and you can then deploy the crane simply by pressing F. Hold down the right mouse button to aim it in front of the resource mine. When it is close to the mine, it will once again show a connection icon with an arrow to show the location of the loading dock. When it is over the loading dock, left-click to drop the container. When the container is on the loading dock of the mine, it will automatically open its menu. You can left-click the resources in the stockpile to transfer 100, shift left-click to transfer 300, or right-click the resources and select Retrieve Custom to retrieve any number between 0 and 1500. Simply drag the slider to the amount you want, usually just 1500, and hit OK. This will transfer over 1500 resources. If the container does not have room for the full amount, it will put the remainder back into the mine's stockpile. Once your container is filled, click the Package Loading Area Equipment button in the Actions panel. When the container is packaged again, use the right mouse button to aim the hook and left mouse button to hoist up the container and place it on the back of your flatbed. To collect oil from an oil well with your fuel truck, simply drive your fuel truck close to the oil well. Press E to open the menu, and left-click on the oil in the stockpile to transfer one can at a time into your fuel truck. Right-click and select Retrieve Multiple, or shift left-click to retrieve 3 at a time. Even though oil can be transported by fuel container, the oil well does not have a loading dock, so transferring oil into a fuel container is best done through a liquid transfer station. And then, as per usual, a big thank you to your new Field Marshal, Crowd Niner!